Canada, a country often divided by politics, regions, and competing interests. Yet today, something remarkable is happening. Alberta Premier Danielle Smith, a politician not known for easy praise of Ottawa, is openly applauding Prime Minister Mark Carney's nation-building vision.
The right person who's assessing those projects, and that they're heading off in a good direction. Negotiation and discussion is the best way to be able to get to common understanding. And I found more common ground with the Prime Minister when I met with him yesterday than I have with any meeting with a Prime Minister. So I'm going to continue to work through to get our issues addressed. Hopefully, well before the end of the year, hopefully in time for that next tranche of announcements at the Grey Cup. But I would just encourage Albertans to not lose faith in the process. Let's work together on it, because I think we're all stronger together if we can get to a point where Alberta is supported. It helps us and it helps the country.
What has Carney done that even his critics are standing up to say, this is the right path for Canada? Let's break it down. Carney has only been Prime Minister for a short time, but already his leadership style is being tested. Canada faces challenges: a fragile global economy, energy debates, strained U.S. trade relations, and pressures from both East and West. Traditionally, Alberta and Ottawa don't see eye to eye. Alberta wants energy freedom, Ottawa often leans toward environmental regulation. The two have clashed for decades. Yet, this week, something shifted. Premier Danielle Smith, known for her tough stance against federal interference, praised Carney's ambitious list of nation-building projects. She called them a turning point for Canada's future. Why? Because these projects, LNG expansion, critical minerals, nuclear innovation, and ports, aren't just federal ideas. They are investments that benefit provinces, workers, and communities across the nation. Carney unveiled a list of big-ticket infrastructure projects designed to secure Canada's economic future. Let's break them down. Liquefied natural gas, LNG, expansion. Canada has massive natural gas reserves, but struggles to get them to global markets. Carney's plan pushes for LNG terminals on the west coast, giving Canada a bigger role in supplying Asia and Europe with clean, reliable energy. Critical minerals development. Electric vehicles, batteries, and clean tech all need rare earth minerals. Canada has the resources: lithium, cobalt, nickel. Carney's government wants to mine, process, and export these at scale, reducing dependency on China and creating jobs in northern communities. Small modular nuclear reactors, SMRs. Carney is betting on nuclear energy as part of Canada's green future. By advancing SMR projects in Ontario and Saskatchewan, Canada could lead the world in clean, safe nuclear technology. Port and infrastructure upgrades. Carney argues that trade starts with ports. Expanding capacity in Vancouver, Halifax, and Arctic routes could reshape Canada's role in global shipping. These projects, together, aren't just about growth. They're about nation building, strengthening Canada's sovereignty, economy, and global standing. Danielle Smith has often criticized federal leaders. But her message this time was different. She called Carney's vision real leadership. Why the praise? Energy independence. LNG projects mean Alberta's gas gets global buyers. Jobs for Albertans, construction, engineering, and energy jobs will boom. Shared national goals. For once, Ottawa and Alberta are rowing in the same direction. It's rare to see Ottawa and Alberta leaders agree. But this alliance could reshape Canadian politics, showing Canadians that unity is possible, if the projects are bold enough. This story isn't just about one politician praising another. It's about what kind of Canada we want. Carney is positioning these projects as nation-defining. Just as past leaders built the railway or invested in national healthcare, Carney wants this era remembered for energy, infrastructure, and innovation. The stakes are high. With global uncertainty, Canada must strengthen its independence, from energy to minerals to trade routes. This is why Danielle Smith's praise matters. It's not just words, it signals a possible shift toward cooperative federalism, where provinces and Ottawa find common ground on the big stuff. Of course, it won't all be smooth sailing. Critics warn of environmental battles over LNG and mining, budget pressures and rising debt, questions about nuclear safety, political divisions if priorities shift. Carney's challenge will be keeping the momentum and proving these aren't just announcements, but real projects with shovels in the ground. When history books are written, moments like these stand out. A prime minister announcing bold projects. A provincial leader from the opposition camp praising him. A sense that, maybe, Canadians can rally around something bigger than politics. Carney calls it nation building. Danielle Smith calls it a step in the right direction. Canadians might just call it hope. So here we are, Mark Carney, the banker turned prime minister, staking his legacy on bold, nation-building projects. And Danielle Smith, one of his fiercest critics, surprising Canadians by offering praise instead of pushback. Could this be the start of a new era in Canadian politics, one where big ideas unite us instead of divide us? Or will old rivalries and challenges derail the momentum? One thing is certain. Canadians are watching closely, and so are we. When we hear nation building, it sounds inspiring. But Canadians want to know, what does it mean for their wallets, their jobs, and their communities? Economists say Carney's projects could inject tens of billions into the Canadian economy over the next decade. Let's break it down. LNG expansion. Industry experts predict thousands of jobs in construction, maintenance, and exports. Once completed, Canada could earn billions each year from overseas buyers. Critical minerals. Developing mines in Ontario and the North could not only create jobs, but also attract billions in foreign investment from companies seeking reliable, democratic suppliers. Nuclear innovation. Small modular reactors aren't just about clean power, they could position Canada as a global leader in nuclear exports. Jobs, technology, and even international contracts would flow. Infrastructure and ports. Every port expansion creates ripple effects. Shipping companies hire more, rail companies expand, and local businesses benefit from increased trade flow. This isn't abstract. It's about paychecks. It's about small towns thriving again. It's about positioning Canada as a competitive player on the world stage. And that's why Danielle Smith's endorsement hits hard. It means these aren't just political dreams. They could be an economic reality. Beyond the politicians and economists, how do ordinary Canadians feel? In Kitimat, BC, workers see LNG as a lifeline, a way to keep their families rooted in small communities instead of leaving for jobs elsewhere. In Northern Ontario, Indigenous communities are cautiously optimistic about mineral projects. If done right, they could bring opportunities, training, and revenue-sharing deals. In Alberta, the energy heartland, people are hopeful. Finally, one worker said, Ottawa gets it. We don't just pump oil. We can lead the world in cleaner energy exports. In Atlantic Canada, port upgrades are viewed as a new golden age of trade. This could put Halifax back on the global map, a dock worker told reporters. The public mood is shifting. Not everyone agrees, some worry about climate costs or federal overreach. But one thing is clear, Canadians are paying attention. And when Canadians are paying attention, it means political momentum is real. So what we're seeing today is more than just policy. It's a shift in tone. A rare moment where Ottawa and Alberta, Carney and Smith, energy workers and environmental planners, all begin to see a shared path forward. Will it last? History tells us politics in Canada can change quickly. But even if this cooperation is brief, it shows us something important. When leaders put nation above party, Canada wins. And perhaps, just perhaps, this is the leadership Canadians have been waiting for. If you want to stay ahead of the headlines, make sure to follow our channel and hit subscribe. Don't forget to turn on notifications so you'll never miss a story that matters to Canadians.